So the first thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and set up the workspace that I'm going to be working in. Now, this is the default Essentials workspace that comes with InDesign, and if your workspace doesn't look like this, maybe you've already used InDesign and you've been messing around with it, you can always reset it. So if you go to the top and you click on Window, and you go down to Workspace, you can see all the different workspaces we have. And currently we have Essentials selected. There's also Essentials Classic. If you're used to older versions of InDesign, you can click on that and see that workspace. And if you need to reset this at any point, you can click on Reset Essentials. If I click on that, it'll reset the workspace back to the original Essentials layout. However, I haven't changed anything, so you won't see anything move. But we have different workspaces that we can work with here. So for instance, if I click Advanced, it's going to change the workspace out. It's going to give me some more options at the top, and it's added in some panels on the right hand side. So now we have pages, layers and links, strokes, swatches, gradients and libraries, effects, object styles, paragraph styles, and character styles. So those are some pretty common ones that we might want to use. If you go down and you can click on any of these. So if you're working for digital publishing and you click on that, it's going to give you some different panels. So animation, timing, media, object states, and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and select the advanced workspace. This has pretty much everything that we need. It's got some options at the top for transforming and stroking and different things like that. And then it's got these panels on the right hand side. Now, if we click on any of these, it will open up that panel group. So you can see pages, layers, and links are here together. When I click on one of them, it puts them here and they have different tabs that you can click on. So we have our pages, we have our layers, and we have our links. If you want to close those, you can click on the double arrow and it'll collapse it, or you can just click on the name of that panel again and it will open and close it for us. Same thing with stroke. So we can click on one of these, and then if we can't see the tab at the top, that's fine. We can just click it over here. So swatches, gradients, and libraries, and then we have effects, object styles, paragraph styles, and character styles. However, I'm not going to use this exact setup because there's some things here that we're not going to need for this project, and maybe some things that we will want to have in here. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and collapse that for now. We're not going to use any links at all, so we can actually get rid of this. So we can right click and click on close, and it will remove that panel from that panel group. So if I click on pages, you can see we have pages and layers. So stroke is something that we might want to use. Swatches is for color. That's something common. So is gradients. However, we don't need our CC libraries. So let's go ahead and close that out. Effects is nice. We might use some effects. Object styles, we're not really going to use any types of frames or any object styles for now. We can close that out. Paragraph and character styles are great when you begin having multiple pages and you want to set up character styles for the type and the text and the different things, but we're not going to actually use that in this tutorial. So let's go ahead and close those out. And we're just making it a little nicer to read and see just the things that we want. Now, there might be some panels that we want to add in here. So if you go back to the top and you click on Window, you can see all the panels that are available. So we have the CC libraries that we closed out. We have different color panels. We have editorial, effects, and so forth. So I'm going to add a couple more of these back in. I want to start off with the basic Adobe Color Themes panel. If you click on that, this is a great tool for selecting color, and we may use this, we may not, but it's just a really cool tool. You can come in here and you can move colors around and you can grab their color codes and so forth. So it's a nice panel to have. Now it's out in the open and we want it over with the other color panels. So to do that, all we have to do is click and drag and hover. And as we do, you can see these blue lines start popping up. And wherever I drop this with the blue line, it will put it there for me. So for instance, if I don't want it with all these panels, but I want it in its own panel group, I can hover until I see this vertical line. And when I let go, it'll create another panel group vertically for me, and it gives it's a lot easier for me to see. So you can come and explore different ways of setting up these panels that work best for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on that tab and drag it again, and let's just stick it above the swatches, the color swatches. So now we have color themes, we have swatches, and we have our gradient. If we want to move any of these, we can click and drag and we can reorder them. Or you can actually click on the tab when they're open. So if it shows a panel group, you can click and reorder them this way also. So let's go put that back where it was. Okay, let's add in a couple more. So there is actually a color picker that we can add in. So if we're working with color, we want to have these types of things in here that'll help us out. The properties and the info is something that I actually like to have. It didn't have it in the advanced, but I like to keep them. So we'll click on properties, and the properties shows us information about the document. So if we want to change the width and the height or the margins or the pages or anything like that, working with the rulers and grids, we can work with that right here. Now it created a new panel for us, but I like this setup, so I'm going to leave it like this for now. I might change it later. Let's go back up to window and let's click on info. I like to have the info and the properties together. So the info is going to give us information about any objects that we're manipulating, the X and Y coordinates, the width and height, the rotation, and so forth. So these are two panels to have together that'll give us information about the document or what we're working on. And we can just take a look and see if there's anything else that we might be interested in. We already have our layers. We're not using links. We might want to add in the align and transform tools. These are really useful. So we'll grab these and let's drop them in here. And I might actually move this above effects. Let's pull effects to its own. And let's pull stroke to its own so it's not with the colors. Okay, so we have pages, layers, and then we've got stroke, color themes, color swatches, gradients, align. I grabbed Pathfinder. I didn't mean to grab that one. We'll leave it there, but we want transform also. So this gives us easy ways to align things. And then Pathfinder, if we're creating any kind of paths, we'll close it. We're not going to use that today. And then transform if we want to make any manual transforms. Now we have the same thing at the top for transforms, so we really don't need this. I can actually close that one out and we can just have our align tools. So that makes that nice and easy for us. We have output, overlay, pages, and stroke we already have, and we're not going to use that. Types and tables. So we do have character and paragraph type, which we will want to use. So let's click on character and bring that over here. And let's go types and tables and click on paragraph. And we'll also bring that in and we'll drop it in with the character one. So we have character and paragraph together, and I probably use these a lot, so we'll move these on up. Maybe we'll put them underneath the color. Okay, so I put info, properties, pages, and layers together. They all kind of work together for me. I don't even know if I'm going to be using a whole lot of layers in this one because this is a pretty simple creation we're going to make. But we have all this information here that we can use, and then we have stroke, all of our color stuff, our character stuff, alignments, and then effects, and then we have some more transform tools at the top and strokes and different things we can use. So this is good. This is a good setup. You could have them all in one panel if you like to. It's really up to you how you want to create this. If you create it and you get stuck and you don't want it in a certain way, just go back up to window, go to workspace, and then you can reset it. You can also save this. So if you click on new workspace, you can give it a name and you can save it for future use. So once you find one that you use often, go ahead and save it out. And then when you come back into InDesign, you can recall that workspace and it'll be there for you. So now that we're set up and ready to go, we can begin designing.